Three, two, one. We're live.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Welcome back, people. We have Mr. Sonny Sonshine this week. Thanks for coming on.
What up? Of course.
Thanks for making time.
Of course, brother.
I've been wanting to have you on for a while. I say this to everyone that comes on, but yeah, we've had some good chats, so I figured why not press record and get some more insight into our relationship and how we know each other. We were just talking about Desert Hearts, and I haven't seen you since Desert Hearts, and that was your... Were you working like...
No, how do I explain this? Like, I don't.
You were just like,
I don't really work for the boys. No, I'm just like, it's just family, dude. It's just a natural connection. Something kind of just like sparked within me. There, I'm pretty sure everybody has their like, let's say festival moment or like, let's say thing or place that kind of takes them where they feel like home.
Yeah.
And, it was Papa Lee, he told me one day, nah, Sonny, we just called you home. That's all that happened, and it was special, natural, just amazing connection. I've met some of my, closest people, friends, supporters, everything like my musical journey. Believe it or not, unfortunately, I'm branded for life now. So.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. That was like last weekend?
Yeah, it was last weekend. They did the Love Bazaar thing down at Spin, and then obviously me, and then shout out the homie Mantra. My boy, we released a unreleased track that we're, getting fine-tuned and down, and gave it out for a little test banger, and
hell yeah,
for all the friends and homies to, hear it now and look back at me and be like, yo, that's what you guys were doing last month. This is what you guys made. And just everything. It was super cool, especially to get like San Diego reaction and all that. And then shout out my boy Clemson Sonny down there. He's a little bright ray of sunshine down there too. He was like instantly shaking ass front on the dance floor, and he's funny and a vibe, and we just had a good time. Like, it was very natural, and then to go downstairs and play with all the boys and just like see them all fucking crush city, you know what I mean, and just be there. It was an awesome time, man.
Yeah, I love how Desert Hearts is like, when they go play parties, it's just like Desert Hearts, and it's just like the guys, like they just always play parties together. Of course they play like their individual shows and stuff, but they're just always playing shows together. I think that's really sick.
I just think it brings a different aspect and a vibe to the party, and you're going to be seeing like a lot more of that from the boys. It's not really going to be like just them separately all the time. It's going to be like all of them playing together, and I think they're trying to bring more of that like kind of family camaraderie, like, camaraderie, there we go, type of vibe, and just... It's different, bro, when you go, because you get to experience it. And I know this year was like your first year, and then you got to like see it from like the pre-party perspective to like everything. You know what I mean? You got to see it from start to basically finish, and you get why. Like, you know what I mean? Because you see the community like come together, build it all up, and then you see all the people who are like still there on the last day are the same people who were there 2 days before, helping everything build. Like, it's just, it's a different vibe, man.
Yeah, it really is like a family. I don't understand how. So I went with Kellen, right?
Shout out Kellen James.
And him, and I was like hosted by him and a few other people. And there's just a huge group of their friends. Like, we were camped kind of like on the outside of where all their friends were, but there was maybe like 30 people, 35 people, and we would just all just roll together like back and forth from the stage. And it's just crazy to me because I don't have like a huge group of friends like that, or I've never really seen anyone with that big of a like friend group. So just kind of, that was like my introduction to Desert Hearts. And then they have Pile Palace, which is sick. And it was all the homies from there. So
a lot of like burner kind of vibes and twists and stuff. And I think like once you like, that's the whole thing why Desert Hearts is what they are, because like, I've had a 100 people come up to me and be like, oh, you mean like, the comparison to Dirty Bird Campin' or this or that. And it's like, dude, until you're there, like it's non-comparable. It's its own thing. It's its own vibe. It's its own everything. You know what I mean? And for me, it's so cool to see like all the aspects from all like the different shapes and forms of what this world of EDM kind of is, all encompasses what kind of Desert Hearts is about, being like house, techno, love. And that's the coolest part about it.
Yeah, it's very different from, it's honestly, I haven't been to that many festivals, but this is my first camping festival I ever went to. But compared to like Insomniac is like huge, obviously, so it's going to be different.
I mean, my first EDC was this year, so I mean, seeing the machine and the industry of like what that is, and like shout out like Insomniac. It's not like a stab or a dig. To do all of that and to put all of that production on is ridiculous.
Yeah, bro.
Like the amount of things you can go do at the Speedway, bro, is fucking crazy. Like absolutely mind blowing. And I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I just feel like that kind of like more.
It's just a different thing.
Yeah, it's just a different thing. It's more of like go for like a Disneyland, almost like kind of like experience of what it is, versus like those other kind of events or things that are more underground and just more fun or whatever. It's more about the music. Like I feel truly that, you know what I mean? It's more about getting and digging deeper and like finding tracks that not only are like out and released, but like just that people wouldn't play out. It's not the standard commercialized what everybody knows and sings along to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. EDC is a show.
Yeah. 100%.
It's a show. It's a Vegas like spectacle. And I encourage everyone to go.
Dead serious, I'm telling you, go.
Insane,
I am not
bro.
talking shit at all. Like, you have to at least go experience it once.
At least one time.
At least one time. 100,000%. And I mean, like, dude, my first rave ever was Monster Massive 2010. I got the poster in my room.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I snuck the fences. I did all that. I was in the house scene when I was really young, got out of it for a very long time because of, like, other, personal reasons. Like, and was playing drums and, touring in hardcore bands to, being a professional bodyboarder for a little bit, you know what I mean? Doing that kind of avenue to finding out and being at where I'm at now and like just realizing house music was the thing for me and what did it for me. I never like realized what my attraction to like the real EDM world was, but it was just like that four to the floor, that real rhythm, that thing that I think like ignites a lot of us when we first hear it. And going to be able to do that was like, seeing my shift through the whole thing, like, oh, I was here for a second, then ran all the way out, then came back out of like kind of nowhere and then found like my home so quickly again. I'm just blessed, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a very community based industry, and I feel like that's what a lot of people get like drawn into it from, because one, I don't know your experience, but everyone is like super nice, like super welcoming. You can go to any like event, any like festival. It's obviously changed a little bit over the last few years, but you'll just be in the crowd and you just meet like the sickest people. Like, I've met so many people at festivals that I still am in contact with, like even from Desert Hearts.
All the time, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. Desert Hearts, like, not only just them, but like even other shows and other places and things that you go and like to and experience. And I swear it's like when you go to a festival or you go to anything like that, your energy like attract. You ever hear that saying, your vibe attracts your tribe?
Yeah.
Like, it's very much so true.
Yeah.
And exactly what you're saying. You meet like some of the coolest people. You get along with some of the coolest people. You finally feel like seen, I think is like one of the coolest things like in our community, no matter like where you come from, race, color, culture, background, religion, doesn't mean a thing. Like, your kind of like accept it as who you are, unless obviously, you know what I mean, you don't stand by like the same principles that, you know, like what house music and all those things are about. It is about, you know, acceptance and equality and just like being that source of being able to feel free for once in your life. And I feel like once you kind of are there in that moment and you meet those right people who see you for you, it's that you get to meet and have some of the coolest like friendships to like, bro, I've watched homies form businesses on dance floors. And not saying like obviously the party guy like, hey bro, you know, he's tweaking out on Molly being like, hey, I got this business idea. But no, but I'm dead serious. Like I've seen a lot of people do it from like fashion to other shit and just cool ideas, and you see them needing or creating that thing that they've done just from that idea that sparked on the dance floor of what they didn't have in that moment or whatever that it may be, bro. It's really, really, really cool to see like the evolution, not only I think of like, I think the club and like music scene to like the underground parties to these blown out festivals to everything that they've turned out to be. You can really find and meet people who you're really gonna vibe with and be like, oh, these are my people, once you realize like, hey, what in this experience of this world do I really like? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and even with, to come off just like festivals, just even with like production, it's helped me so much being around other people that are doing the same thing, because for a while I was like the only one that I knew in my group of friends that was doing music. So I was just like making beats in my room on the weekends. They're like, hey, come out, do this, do that. I'm like, nah, bro, I gotta like work on music and all this shit. And it's very isolating. It's very isolating, and it's, once you get around other producers, it just is more normal and doesn't feel like you're just doing the shit by yourself all the time.
Oh no, dude. I tell every single person in like the musical journey, because the whole thing was like, even for me, you know, my background a little bit more, and what I can like share on the interview is more of like, that was my biggest like up kind of in the game, is I produced before I even DJ'd.
Yeah.
And people like are like, wait, what? And it's because it's the opposite usually. People usually DJ, then they produce. But my whole background of me playing drums for 10 years and jumping in different DAWs for live recorded like mic'd drums to
Pro
clicking
Tools.
in the, like, you know what I mean? Shout out Pro Tools and a bunch of just other things. I got to watch the production game when I was like young. You know what I mean? From coming from that background, and then being able to like sit down and really see how DAWs work and how shit goes and what you can do to certain sounds. I think with production EDM, it's like the possibilities are endless. Like what you can do to a simple sound with one plugin, to how you know, set it up, to how you stretch it, to how you bend it, to hey, let me reverse this, let me fucking, you know, try all these jumbled up crazy different variations of how I could do this, automate it, throw it on this, blah blah blah. There's so many different lanes I feel like people have yet to even really go down still, like in the whole world. And that's why I feel like it's just, no matter what, it's going to be an ever-encompassing, ever-growing thing. And I think once you break that barrier of like, as a producer, you go, there's shit that I'm going to make right now that was made in the past, and there's shit that I'm going to make right now that's going to be in the future. That's more of where, like, I don't know, like my production mindset has always been like, you want to create something of substance of what you're feeling at that time. Because I feel like a lot of people are like me, for example. I was so scared to put out my first song for whatever reason, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, I do not care about my Spotify counts, this, how many plays I've gotten, this, that, blah, blah, blah. What I care about is, did a song touch somebody, and messages and things that I've even gotten back in my short little thing. And I'm going through like even a whole recreation of my brand, myself as an artist and everything even now. You know what I mean? And I have a lot of unreleased stuff that it will be hitting next year. It's just more of when do I kind of want to share that with the world of the next phase of who I'm like becoming through this evolution of this past 2 years. And I think once you realize, like, again, production is like, it's so, you beat yourself up so hard because it's, Mac Miller, I think, said it best, bro. It's like you're going out and stripping down naked and you're watching everybody like look at you naked and you know, are they cool with it or are they not? You got your dick hanging out and it's just like, hey, I'm here, everybody, you know, and you just have to be like comfortable with like dead serious being like straight naked in front of people. I think is like the biggest thing, because when you're handing over production like music that you make, you're handing over a piece of yourself, bro. Yeah. It's not just like a little simple thing. You spent hours making it, spent a bunch of time, money on whatever fucking thing that you're doing, and most people don't get that it is like you're digging yourself a hole versus like realistically how much money you can make off of it, unless you're just making absolute tech house bangers and, you know, just sitting there riding the wave of that. But like even that for me is not like, even if I did something like that or made something like that, which again, I do have a lot of like techier, deep techier stuff coming out that I'll be releasing next year, but it's more of, again, like I'm just feeling the vibe of what I'm feeling right now. Yeah, I'm not here to like sit and stay in one lane for my whole life. It's never been me, and I think that's the coolest part about me as an artist. Like I can go anywhere and play like from a disco funk day party kind of vibe to a thing to put me at a 2 a.m. main slot after hours, and I'm going to bring some fucking dark industrial acidy weird shit too. You know what I mean? And I think that's the coolest part. Like, don't just put yourself in a lane and make one thing or do one thing, and just evolve, dude, because it's the same thing. We're all just becoming better versions of ourselves every day, or at least trying, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like when I'm producing sometimes, you just, I mean, you know, you just get in your head about
biggest enemy number one, yourself. Don't fucking listen to him.
Don't listen to yourself. But I heard this thing the other day, and I don't know, it's like a very simple thing, but I sometimes have to like ask myself, would I still be sitting here? I feel like sometimes when I sit down to make music, I'm trying to get something out of it instead of just making something.
So for me, I would say it's like the same thing, like when you're trying to get something out of it, but like the biggest thing I think I've learned, dude, like with the songs that I've created that are some of my favorite songs, and I finish them in like less than 2 hours. Yeah. Like I'm talking the entire skeleton organization start to finish is pretty much done. It's going back one more session, maybe being like, hey, risers here, this, that, but like the foundation of the song or the main skeleton is built. Yeah. And I think what I've done is, back in the day, I used to come in with a lot of samples. It was like, yo, how can I make this sample work? How can I work around it? How can I do it? But you're already throwing yourself in a hole there. Yeah. You get what I mean? Like, oh, hey, I'm going to work around this sample, or I'm going to do that. What I kind of do when I hop into production now, and I think it's helped me, and I know I've heard it from a lot of other producers, don't go in with like any intention of like, I'm going to build this banger around like this thing, blah, blah, blah. No, just go in with a very open mind. And when you start hearing the sounds that are like really clicking with you in the moment that you're in it, start dragging and pasting, bro, and start really diving in. Because I feel people, especially in bands, bro, when have you ever seen like a vocalist? Yeah, the songwriters are great and people are great, but the beat's got to be there first. Yeah, like the music has to be there first, and then I feel like you can then play with samples more, do shit more. I feel like you know, big shout out again to Mantra. Like when you build in loops and you're like really creating like the vibe and energy of a track from start to finish, and you're able to then, like, you know, for our track, like there was 4 phrases or vocals that I did. We kept 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Throughout the whole song, once it was then start and finished. And you go in with this idea of, oh, okay, we're going to make this work, blah, 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 blah. But then when you're sitting there and you're really breaking it down and you're really like tuning everything fine and trying to get it right, you're like, oh shit. Okay, like, nah, let's go with what's naturally flowing. Like, what are we feeling right now? Because this isn't something. You're not really trying to make something again of substance. That's why I said it's not like, don't go in with no intention of not making music. Go in with the intention of making music, but don't go in with some giant expectation that you're gonna have something like kind of built or whatever. I think the best thing is too is like a lot of people, like you said, they're so stuck in their own shell or their own production, and then once you sit down with other people and people who've been doing it for 10 plus however many years, then you sit there and learn little tricks and trades, and it's like assembling your tool belt, bro. You know what I mean? You're taking like, oh, this dude put me on this dope ass screwdriver that does this, so I'm gonna put this in my tool belt and I'm gonna be able to, you know, get those hard screws to really tighten up. It's the same thing of what you're doing in your music. He's giving you a tool, or somebody's giving you a tool to tighten some things up and make something and create something, you know? Like even, you know, Lee, I was just sitting down with Lee before he played his whole weekend at Love Bazaar, and he was showing me things in his waveforms that I've never seen in people's waveforms before. And he's just messing with like UAD simple plugins and things like this, and you know, he's going to show me next time I go to Chicago what he's been doing. And it's the whole thing too of just learning off of each other and being able to create and do things, bro. I think a lot of people are like, no, and force themselves, or they try to challenge themselves too hard. And it's like, bro, be willing to ask for help, and not only be willing to ask for help, like go out there and get the help and do some dope shit. And then you can start collaborating with doper artists, like, and cooler shit who are going to show you kind of like the ropes, and they've been around the industry. Like, shout out again, my roommate too, bro, like Danger House. That guy's been on the road, created his own music festival, produced music, you know, the come ups of the artists that dude has seen in his lifetime, like people from like, you know, I'm talking Bijou to Vanessa to a bunch of other artists that he watched like locally grow up in this scene right here too, bro. You know what I mean? And even like guys who are starting their own production companies and stuff, like shout out Rob Mavovsky, you know what I mean? Homie's fucking crushing Loco Disco, and shout out Sal at Secret Service, and you know, my boys Bajan and Blue who are doing Casually Late. Like all the boys you know, I've had the blessing and opportunity to be surrounded by so many good groups and core people and dope shit of like vets, and then guys starting up who are brand new, to dudes who've been in it for fucking forever, to dudes who've thrown their own festivals, to dudes who run after hours events now in Vegas, to this stuff, to other things, you know, like it's everybody I feel has like their place in this scene in their industry, and it's really, what do you want to go after and what are you trying to create? And like my biggest thing, bro, is I just want to be like if it makes sense, like produce like, I guess, more modern and more what the industry and things are going to, but I also want to be like underground and still part of the culture, like, because I feel the culture is what carries the industry. It's the same thing in like cannabis, which I've done my whole life, you know of too, like again, grown since I was 16 years old to 15 years in the game, in and out of hydro, to growing for big ass brands, to, you know, retail, to, you know, wholesale, distro, all of it, bro, now. And at the end of the day, like, I feel people don't like appreciate where this thing we call like the culture of it moving every single piece of what this industry tries to come in and make money off of, right? It's this whole kind of like game. And as the old school guys and everybody who I've seen it, they've watched the industry literally swallow like the culture whole. But I feel like the culture is going to be the only thing that brings it back to a balance. Because once we finally kind of taper, you know, like the scales a little bit, then we're really going to see like some of the best we've yet to seen from house music or from like the EDM, the electronic dance music world. Like we're not even close, bro, to I feel like what it should be, and I feel like we have a lot more work to do as far as like all of these underground brands and people and everything else to make it really stand above all else, that like this music and the people like all of us are not going fucking anywhere, no matter what the mainstream kind of is doing to what I would say to club culture and everything else now,
Yeah, and it's always going to be like a balancing act. I've said this before, but I mean, just the bigger everything gets, like the more underground shit there's going to be, because there's going to be more of an audience for these like smaller festivals to book bigger artists and just grow organically, because all these people that go to EDC for their first festival and then they discover Desert Hearts or some other small festival, it just like slowly grows the scene that you want to be in. You just got to like pick your little lane that you want to be in. And I think like even in Orange County and in Long Beach, I don't know when like Casually Late started their whole thing.
Well, yeah, like Bijan and Blue, I think started like, I would say like I could be wrong, but like 2 years, 3 years now. They did it with their boy Travis too. Shout out Trav. Those boys have been doing that and been doing their party and thing like that locally, like here, and then brought it to like LA, to San Diego, to a bunch of other stuff. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, dude, start something and build something. And like, it's even with like production, you're gonna slam your face on the wall and you're gonna fall 100 times flat.
You're gonna lose a lot of money.
Lose a lot of fucking money. Trust me, talking to somebody who's lost a lot more money in producing than even close to what I've made from it. But just the opportunities and the experiences that like my life has placed me in, where I'm at now, like I know, I'm on like the verge of something really special with not only myself as an artist, but like, with the next like level of production and things that I'm going to be doing and places I'm going to be playing and things, I'm going to do, bro. I'm very excited for what the future kind of has to hold. And I think, it's all of us, how long are you willing to hold on to making your dreams kind of happen and making those things happen? Like me, I've always been someone who's gonna accomplish or put my 120% in, and I feel like I haven't even gotten close to 10,000 hours in this thing yet. You know what I mean? I feel like once I hit that 10,000 hour mark, whether that's I do that in the next 4.5 years or I do that in the next 8 years or whatever that it is, I've already been almost just about 3 years coming into it as far as like producing and sitting in on sessions to making my homies, like, because that's how I started, bro. I sat in the back of my homies sessions and I just would sit there and be like, drums don't sound like super slapping, or this doesn't sound like this. And it all comes again from my band background in hardcore music, because hardcore is like in your face. Drums are heavy as fuck. Bass is heavy as fuck. House music, it is all in your drums and your bass line. Like it's all in your kicks and your drums and bass lines and how you create those grooves rhythmically. And I feel like, a lot of the times all my homies come from these backgrounds of making like trap beats or hip hop and like this. And it's like, yeah, that's dope. But like when you're a drummer, you have a natural like metronome in your head that you're kind of like clicking and following to. And then like certain percussion sounds, when they come together, like, nobody's really like doing like 2 crashes and hitting a hi-hat at the same time on the one, or like this. It's like a crash and then coming back. Like that, I think, is like what my biggest separation is. I was able to like organize tracks because I built songs. And then once you like build songs for drums, you're able to like really layer out production of tracks on drums. And that was my biggest jump, more is like build my drums out, build the sounds that I kind of want to put in there, and then add all the icing on top is like my biggest thing. And I think now my approach to the studio has been, let's just jump in, let's build some fucking drums, let's get some shit going, let's create, you know, groups that are rhythmically shaking together and fitting and aligning together. And then once we're there, boom, we're on to our next step of like, yo, okay, we're in this key. Okay, let's try to find, some other ear accents that are in this key and plug them in and play them in and see kind of what happens, right? And then not only that, being like, hey, what do I have in my sample folder that I've always kind of like vocally wanted to use or do this, or do I want to do what I've been doing lately and just putting my own vocals in with a lot of things. And I feel like a lot of people too, it's like, bro, yes, I've heard 100 times I have the radio announcer voice, what's up everybody, but like, or I have this and blah blah blah, and like, don't be afraid or whatever. But dude, hearing your own voice in a track, no matter what, if it's the smallest sample ever to whatever, it's still like weird. I don't know anybody who fully like still is like gotten back to the use like used to hearing themselves.
Yeah.
It's a battle that you'll forever face and you'll get over it. Like I've gotten over it. I'm totally cool with doing vocals and recording shit now, but it's more of like, hey, what is the sound that I want to give off, and like what is like the tone or the texture kind of do I want to match the vibe of the track. It's not even like what am I really saying or playing with. It's more of where is that right pitch or that right plug in or that right sound that's going to get my voice to how I want it to come and portray throughout my music.
Yeah. And you can also just use it as a placeholder for an actual vocalist to come in, and because you hear it in your head, like what's gonna like be placed where. So you could just use it as a placeholder. But yeah, using your voice is I've gotten used to it just because I've done like podcast stuff before, and hearing my voice isn't as weird now, so it doesn't bother me as bad as some people. But yeah, I think just starting to learn from people, they always say it like, if you're the smartest guy in the room, find a different room. And I think it gets to a point you have to sit and just smash your head against the wall for a good amount of time until you get like the basics of the DAW. But at a certain point, for me, I had to start getting help from other people because...
Same here, bro. I'll be the first person to fucking admit it. And it's not something to... Like, I feel like, again, most artists are like, oh, like, just like blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, bro, go put yourself in the shoes of someone who's been doing what you want so bad right now to someone who's been doing it for 10 fucking plus years, and go learn some shit, or maybe go help them out. Like, what can you help them out with so then they can go ahead and teach you the things and skills you need to do, bro? Like, I don't know. Go ahead. Continue with what you were saying, but it's like...
you just get to a point where you can't watch any more YouTube videos. And my whole thing is, this is like another rant. I would like download people's tracks off of like Bandcamp. It's like, bro, I just spent the $2 or whatever, and I go to play it out, and the master just sounds like shit. And I don't ever want to charge someone for music. Like, even on Beatport, a lot of the masters are just fucking horrible.
Bro, no, like... absolutely horrible. And trust me, I've experienced it through like plugging it into like a mastering program. Like I've watched my tracks literally go from like, did somebody just go like this to my song, like what the fuck, to then getting it like, when you learn like the right people, like I have people who help me master my tracks, and they get me to a certain point in degree where it sounds where I want it to sound like. But I am also the dude who's like sitting in, trying to watch and trying to learn, because I don't want to have to do that for the rest of my fucking life. But also at the same time, like, be willing to sit in and learn and do the things, because once you do, you're going to be that many more steps forward than the person who wants to, again, beat their head against the wall 100 times. I want to be the person who just sits and is a sponge and absorbs and wants to learn, bro. That's it, plain and simple.
Yeah, and it's just like anything. Like back in the day, if you wanted to learn how to do carpentry, you go basically do an internship with a guy that knows carpentry. You're not going and I don't even know what the example would be, but yeah, you got to learn from people that have been doing it. And that's why I just stopped playing shows for a while, because everyone, even at this like networking event thing I went to, a lot of these people, they're like asking for some like magic thing that's going to make them pop off. And I just look at the people, you go look at the people that are touring.
It's called one song, everybody. It's called keep attempting to do what you need to make that whatever quote unquote hit. Because if you look at somebody like John Summit, fucking 6 years ago, the guy was making beats in an apartment.
Yeah.
Working, what was it, a catering job or something? Whatever the fuck it was. Like
accounting.
Accounting job. Yeah, not even catering. Whoops.
Catering.
Terrible.
Catering.
But I'm just saying, like an accounting job. And it, bro, like it happens to people all the time. Like I've watched a lot of DJs, like again, just lock themselves in their closet and learn real production and come out slapping. Like shout out Abo, like Aaron. That dude is one of them. The guy has created a formula and created like a thing that he is popping off right now. Like to watch him go from where I've seen him play at to going back to back with Green Velvet, crushing it, like absolutely fucking smashing right now. Like, bro, possibilities are endless, but it's, you have to figure out the formula or like the sauce or the thing that works kind of for you. And I think that's the biggest thing is I've watched people go from, you know, playing local fucking spots like Sandbar right here in Huntington Beach, Aaron being one of them, to now he's crushing fucking mainstream stages, you know, and it's all love. And it's a big shout out to those kind of people, bro, because they didn't give up. They really, really, really put in the work and learned and created something that somebody else is now trying to mimic. When you have people now coming in trying to mimic the way you write music, that's when you know you've kind of like
made it.
But that's what I mean, like type of thing. And regardless of how you got there, there's 100 people, you know, out there who are bigger DJs who don't even know how a DAW works. Yeah. And I swear to God, I've met them, many of them. You know what I mean? But their names are on some fucking ridiculous fucking tracks. Yeah. And they couldn't teach you the first fucking thing in there. And I just didn't want to be that person either. But I've always liked doing group sessions and being with somebody who has your extra ear or set of ears, because like I said, it's like 6 ears is always going to be better than 2.
Yeah.
8 ears is always going to be better than 2. Fucking 4 ears is better than 2. And when you have somebody else sitting there listening to the things that you don't hear, but that then they hear, and you're being able to then adjust and make some shit happen, you're going to get to your process and your tracks being done that much quicker. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people, they're not sharing what they're even like cooking up or creating. And my biggest thing is like, why would you not? Because I've watched some of my homies get some of the best ideas for their songs by just simply like sharing where they were going with an idea. And their homie was like, hey bro, like here's this plugin, here's this, try this fucking sound on this. Or, hey bro, I heard this in like the mix, something sounded a little muddy right here, you might want to double check this or clean this up or do that. And I've had a lot of those things that I wouldn't have even been like, oh shit, or thought of or noticed and been like, damn, this is way doper now, or this is sounding that much more cleaner. Like, share your music, dude, and don't be afraid of like, again, what you're willing to like write and do, like go in the weird direction, go put the weird thing that maybe the traditional dude wouldn't put in his music or this or that, because it's going to make you stand out. Like in this industry of what we are right now, it's not just about like, hey, can you DJ, and hey, can you produce and even write music? It's how are you as a person? How are you dealing with as a person, as an artist? Like, are you an asshole? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that I know, it's like music production, they're insane. They have a cult like following and this and that, but you go meet them backstage and they're assholes. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Divas.
And it's like, I don't want to be known as that guy. And not only do I not want to be known as that guy, I want to be known as the guy, like, when I show up, I'm easy to deal with. Like, artist relations people fucking love when I pull up. They want to like request to work with me type of thing. Like, I don't want to be the person who makes it difficult for other people to get their job done or do that. Because I have a lot of people and homies who work in artist relations and things like that. And I mean, like, I've watched people see some writers that I was just like, you can even request this? Like, this is a fucking thing? What the fuck? Like, oh my God. Like, straight diva like status. And I was just like,
can you say what was requested on these writers?
To be honest with you, bro, I don't know if I should.
Okay,
but like, just like the list of things that people like feel like they could just get for showing up and playing like music when you're already getting paid. It's like, bro,
it's like, dog, your writer's $1,000.
Oh my God, dude. And don't get me wrong, man. It's not like a hateful thing. It's not like something to talk shit about. I'm not trying to be like a judgmental person. I couldn't be that dude.
Yeah.
I could not be that artist who does that type of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, just get like a bottle of Tito's and like a vape. Just get on with it, bro.
Bro, I'm going to be the easiest artist ever to show up. Be like, dude, just give me a bag of some good weed. Like, and it's got to be good at least. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some indoor. And I'm gonna be chilling for the most part. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe get me like I'm the type of dude, I don't even drink that much too, bro. Like, even when I'm playing sets or whatever, I'm like, give me 2 freaking whiskey and Red Bulls and let's go. Because that's all I need. I just need the little pick me up and I'm ready, like, and I'm vibing. But also at the same time, like, I feel like this is another thing, like, we can touch on, like, substances and the whole thing of people and in it. Like, shout out to all my homies who, choose
drugs,
do drugs, and the homies who shout out to be sober, because it's hard to be sober in this like industry, and it's very hard to, live that kind of lifestyle. But I also feel like there are a lot of people, like, if you look at somebody like Chris Lake, like, dude writes fucking bangers, but again, lives a sober.
Is he sober?
Pretty much. From what I know,
he's like,
I think he'll fuck around with some mushrooms or something like that or whatever.
He's not like. I think he drinks, but he doesn't like.
No, he does. He does not. He does not drink at all, bro. He does not drink at all.
Really?
Dead serious.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he does not drink, bro.
I feel like a lot of the older cats are.
And that's what I'm saying. And it's the whole thing. I've learned from like veterans. Me, dude, I'm not the person to get like shit faced at the club, but like I'll get my little buzz on because I want to feel like, what is the crowd feeling like? You know what I mean? And that's where you can meet people kind of in the middle. I think for me, like growing up with, how I grew up and alcohol being really gnarly and prevalent in my family and all of that, like, and me showing up to like an AA meeting, and being and hearing these words, it's what stuck with me. It's like, if you can't drink like a gentleman, don't do it. And I think that was like the biggest thing for me, is like, because I know myself, once I have that 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever, and I just keep going, it's going to be a spiral, like nonstop downward. And I feel like for me, the cutoff is like 2, max 3, and I'm fucking, you know what I mean, for the most part. And just to get my kind of overall vibe and do that thing, but it's also to challenge myself and be like, hey, this is your restriction or limit line. Like, you want to be professional and you want other people to see you as that, but you also want to be yourself. Like, it's balance, bro. It's yin and yang. Like, party, but professionalism. Like, be a degenerate, but be a disciplined degenerate, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? So I just think that not enough people have that balance. It's either they're dipping into the drugs a little bit too hard, and I've seen it happen with a lot of homies, bro, where it's prevalent, it runs their life, and you know, they're at where they're at because that they continue and choose and want to kind of do that, and we love them still. They're our boys, like they're the homies, you know, but at the same time, like, you're never gonna really like evolve and become like the next best version of yourself if you just keep numbing your mind and your body out with a bunch of substances, bro, you know?
Yeah, and especially when you're out being in the music scene, you're just out all the time. So like there's no, like, you can't just go get fucked up every time you go out.
Yep.
Especially when you're working on music, like you're going to sleep all day. You're going to feel like shit, wake up, not want to produce, not want to work on all your other shit. The way I'm kind of looking at it, I still do go out, but I go out way less than I used to because I feel like it gets to a point where you're just like, it stops being fun and you're just drinking because you're in that environment. Like, drinking to celebrate something is way more fun than just blacking out at like a nightclub for no reason, you know? Like, I feel like I can have the discipline now to not just go out and party every weekend because there's always going to be something going on. So once I'm at a point where I'm like,
I think that comes with age too, with me and you being at where we're at too, bro, versus like,
true.
you know, a lot of these kids are coming up out of college and, you know, dude, they ain't never taken Molly. They ain't never done this in their life. They ain't never, you know, done all of these like things where we're looking back going like, yeah, I remember my first time or this or that. And like, you know, dude, and you see the come up and you see like everything like now, I think through a different like scope and lens. And like, I think ultimately that's what happened to me. It's like why it happened to me on purpose, why I left the scene, did everything that I did, and then came back to it was to not get caught up how a lot of these people do. No, I'm dead serious, dude. Like whether it was, you know, God, the universe, divine timing, whatever that was at that time, I feel like if I would have gotten into it then or whatever, I would have rabbit holed and probably been in a worse or weirder place that I'm at in life, you know, like, and not been who I am today through my experiences and everything else, dude. I just, from at least like my biggest thing is, bro, is like the lack of understanding in the world is like wild to me because it's everything is flip-sided on a coin, bro. That's why it's heads and tails.
Yeah.
Everything, there's always other sides. And I think the biggest thing is like, people don't open up their hearts to like, hey, bro, take yourself out of your fucking 35-year-old shoes for a second. Remember when you were fucking 22 and the first time you did something or whatever, or blah, 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 before you're sitting there and hating and talking shit or whatever. And I think like that's my whole thing is like, I love to people watch just as much as like the next person. Like it's funny as fuck. I love watching people fucking gooned out on Molly and shit or whatever. Yeah. Like I laugh, but I'm not like judging. I'm just going like, oh fuck. Like, dude, I remember
I've been there,
bro. Like, and this and that and whatever. And like, I'm so in my own little world now, but it's like, I just want to be the guy who's like, bro, I ain't going to judge you. I ain't gonna be this person. Like,
dude,
here's some water, bro. Like, you good? Like,
you're good, bro.
You're totally
focus,
fine,
bro.
Yeah. Like, I'm the kind of guy where it's like, you know, you're having a bad trip because of your environment or your setting, or you went through something in your life before you then went and did a substance or did this. Because, like, dude, throughout my life, I've touched quite a few psychedelics and been through some psychedelic experiences that most people, you know, even at my age, you know, 22 doing ayahuasca, 27 doing bufo, that most people, you know, never not only do, but like the eye-opening, insane experiences that I've had through both of those. And then like seeing party drugs and seeing like the difference between like what genuine like psychedelics are here for versus what like other party substances people just go out and do is like they're two totally separate, like
completely different
things for me. And like that's the biggest thing, bro, is like the world. Again, the understanding of like, until you've been in like a deeper, darker place, or like suffered through like some gnarly depression, like, you know, family member dies, this type of shit, blah, blah, blah. We don't know what walks of life people are like going through, but like, I'm not going to be the person to tell you to go fucking do, you know, and ate the mushrooms to the face as, you know, your grandpa died last week, bro, as you're about to go to a music festival and you're wondering why you're having an emotional fucking wreck or like breakdown while you're at the music festival. It's like, dude, like time, place, setting, environment, your people, what everything you have around you, that's like your biggest thing you have to like learn before you're just jumping in, going and doing all this shit, because the world can get real fucking confusing real fast, and it can send you into the wrong place very, very, very fast.
Yeah. And I think it's because also when you're 20 or whatever, like when I was in college, you have so much time to just fuck off and do whatever. You know, when we're working full-time jobs and trying to like do music at the same time, you're working 2 full-time jobs.
Welcome to my world, everybody.
Yeah. So I can't afford to be hungover, because that just kills all my other time that I need for my music stuff. And I think when you're 20, you don't have shit to do the next day, you can go out and party as much as you want. But now I do it strategically.
That is what I would say too. Again, disciplined degenerate over here, brother. You gotta learn the balance, dude. And like, I feel, you know, in this scene especially, bro, I've gotten to produce with some pretty dope people now. Like, I would say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being where I'm at in my journey, being only 3 years in, already produced tracks with people that I have, and the, you know, just the love that I've gotten back from the scene, and just the whole entity of house music itself has just been like insane. And I would say, dude, like the biggest thing that I've just learned though is like, bro, every single person like parties, but the ones who are like really, really doing shit are the ones that are balanced. And the thing is, they do both. Yeah. They're not like squares or this or that, or like socially awkward to be around and this and that. Because I've met a lot of the sober dudes where it's like, because they're in that mindset, and okay, your mindset's clear, then everybody else is around you or whatever, blah, 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 that makes you better than the next person, and it fucking does not whatsoever. I feel that, like, yeah, you might be more clear-headed and, like, you could do, you know, better, like, let's say, quote, unquote, you could think more rationally, but I've also met a lot of people, and myself included, like, bro, I've driven people in a bus on, I'm not even going to tell or speak on how many amounts of what I was on psychedelics, and like stick shift of a van I've never driven, because everybody else was fucked and could not even, and I'm on like double the amounts, and I literally drove this bus stick shift, drove everybody safe, got us out of where we were at safe. And I think it's like people have like literally looked at me before and been like, wait, you're on this, or I'm like, yeah. And they're just like, what the fuck? And I feel like, again, since I've done crazy plant medicines and different experiences, like doing the small amounts that I see that people do nowadays, it's like, that's nothing to me, like, now. And I don't mean it as in like I'm better. It's not that I'm better. Like, bro, a gram of mushrooms slaps most people. For me, that's like my microdose. You know what I'm saying? And like, at the end of the day, am I going to judge you because it slaps you? No. It's just, at the end of the day, we all have different sensitivities, and we're all like different humans, and what we experience and what we have experienced. And that's why, like, again, the understanding of where this person's at, where I'm at, where everybody has been at is the biggest key, like missing link, even to like making music, to relationships, to the foundation and everything of what we want to build, not only locally from this scene, but to where we want to see ourselves in the future. We want like our spider webs to branch out and create more of these interwebbed connections with everybody else, bro. Like the amount of people, because like I like, even for example, me moving in with my boy Danger, fucking Danger House, him being the local legend that he fucking is, putting people on and doing everything, how much impact that dude has had on the scene, and like how much love and like how much he has poured his like fucking literal heart out. And to hear from people being like, dude, that dude put me on or did this for me or did that for me and blah, blah, blah and whatever. Like, and I'm talking, this is 8 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Like hearing those stories is like how the same thing of like what I want to be remembered by, like helping people and bringing people together and more bringing people into the family who really like, who I can see it. They have the heart, the passion, the eyes, the love, like it everything about you encompasses it. Like, and I told you that a long time ago. You have it, dude. It's, you actually are like insanely talented as far as like when you first were showing me what you were producing, because I feel like I was one of my only people who like really picked up the production thing and was like, oh, I'm kind of like going somewhere with this or doing it. And then you popped up and you were doing like, it was like, I was like, yo, he's doing the same, like, let's go, dude. This is sick. Like, and that I had that relationship with you because we've watched ourselves start from like, you remember, dog, my first like funk disco, like daytime, just funky full Sonny. 122, 123 only daytime vibe parties to like now the shit that I'm making now, and it's getting played out at Desert Hearts events, to Stranger Than events, to Dirty Bird events, to a bunch of other shit. Is like, it's mind blowing to me, bro, that like I know that I have 3 unreleased tracks that have at least been played in 25 nightclubs over the United States. Like that, like big nightclubs. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, wow, I really do have something here. And when that kind of like happened, that's when it was like, okay, yeah, it's time to like really dive deep and get in this. And I feel like, you know, next year is really going to be like the year for me. And I know everybody's like, oh, this year's my year, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying it's my year. It's my year for me to finally put out everything that I have been working on, that I've been kind of just sleeping on and waiting on the right time for it to finally get put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think you are one of the people that like, you just fucking put all your like, put everything into it. And like, you haven't been doing it for that long, but when that's like all that you do, you progress so quickly. And after I saw like how much you were progressing and just like working with other people and doing your thing, like this next year is just like I'm not going to really play any shows. I'm just going to focus on my production, and this like next year is kind of like my incubation period. Or like,
don't worry, baby boy, that was me really this year. I didn't play a lot of shows, but played the right ones that I wanted to, and that's the whole thing. Don't limit yourself either though too, bro, because you're a really fucking good DJ.
Thanks,
like
bro.
You know me, I'm picky, not as in like I'm gonna hate on another DJ or whatever. Just
my skills is
you always say that, but your track selection and the way that you mix is fucking always been like really, really dialed. And I'm just saying as far as that, because you know my vibe and we match energy very well. Like we've been back to back before. We've played with each other at events and things like that, you know? And like for me, I think the biggest thing is like you have been that person who's like not only never given up too, but like you've always wanted to evolve in different areas. And that's like I think what I respect about you, from, you know, Townhall records to your events, to your parties, to music production to the way you've DJ'd. You've literally went like full force in and taken a step back and really like, oh, hey, how do I really want to not only present myself, but how do I want to like envelop myself into this? How do I want to really create and do things? And I think that's like been the respectable thing about you, dude, is you're not willing to take steps back to take giant steps forward. And I think that's what a lot of people, like, once their foot hits the fucking gas, they're like fucking don't want to let off. But like, dude, like you can't go fucking 95 or 100 miles an hour in the fast lane your whole life, bro. It does not end up well.
Yeah, and I just had to figure out kind of like where I wanted to go with things, because I don't want to be the fucking promoter. I've thrown a bunch of shows and events, and it's a lot of work, and I love doing them. I like having access to be able to do the events, just because I don't need to play out that often. Like, I could just book myself for one of my events, because it's like built up to the point where I can do that, which is very nice. But I just feel like I want to be more of an artist than a promoter, and I want to build like off of my artist project and be able to like one day actually like start the label and like bring other artists on.
Yeah, boy. Now like I think that's been my whole approach too, is like the entire time is, unfortunately, is like me as a thing is like I wanted to be known as a producer and a DJ, but I think like the biggest thing, like even Danger, like again, my roommate, I'm going to bring him up probably in this interview like 4 or 5 different times, but he was a big like key piece in unlocking like, no, dude, like it's you. Like, you are the artist. It's not just what you produce and what it is or whatever. He goes, it's from your style to who you are to whatever. It's branding. Like, you can't just DJ and produce anymore. Like, it's a brand thing, and like moving an image forward, or like that saying forward or whatever. Like when he started, please don't trip, it's like the same thing. It's don't trip. Like the words, those 2 words, like don't trip about things, like don't trip whatever. And we say it to each other all the time, and we just laugh and like smirk and look at each other, because it's us following advice that we gave ourselves, that that he named his own thing. And then for like them to even let me into that family, even though they don't really put on events and aren't really doing anything right as of right now, like, because again, he's taking a step back on like, how does he want to bring the next party, and how does he really want to do it, and how do we want to get it to come together? And like, for me to even be let in on that and see what those dudes have done in like the independent festival, like, dudes,
so much fucking work,
bro, work and money, and like it is so much, like, you know what I mean? And watching somebody once you pour like basically your entire heart and soul out, not only as an artist, but like as a dude who put on an entire festival, it's hard, dude, especially like doing it during COVID and the times that those boys were doing it and just other things. Like it's rough, bro. Like those things are incredibly difficult until you're behind the scenes and really seeing like what's going down. Like independent festival throwers and stuff, they're not making any money. They're barely like scraping even after artists are paid, after, the venue lease, this, that, whatever that you paid into. People think that these dudes walk away with bucket loads of money, and they don't, unless you're putting on like, a mainstream event where you're having sponsors throw some fucking ridiculous amounts of money at you. And this is coming from a background like, dude, I've watched it do it. Like MJ BizCon couldn't be MJ BizCon without fucking all the companies that come in and sponsor it every year at Vegas. Or it's like the same thing with Network Show that I just got done with last Wednesday. Like, again, my feet will always be dipped into cannabis and music, just because it's created and been a part of my life for so long. It's like, I don't think I can take my foot out of that, even if I wanted to, with how many times I've been sucked right back into what that is. But like, again, like learning that balance between both of them has been kind of crazy too, because I know like at one point in the very near future, I will be touring and I will be doing shit, but it's like having that balance while being like, hey, is the grow and the brand and what I'm about to build, is that still going to be good?
Yeah.
Or are these things going to happen or whatever? Like, I know the like universe is just kind of like divine timingly putting me in places and things of where like, hey, where am I going to put you to where you're going to transform and make like the best moves for yourself as of right now? And I know it's all about just growth and really evolving and doing it and not giving up or whatever. And like, again, watching, you know, an example, again, bringing up Mantra, like Dylan, like from Boys Noise to, you know, or Boys House, like to all of that, like, you know, to what he is at and what he has done, like 10 years, bro. 10 fucking years. A lot of time. And I'm talking like 20, 30,000 hours in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And no wonder where the guy is, where he's at. And not only that, but look at the person that he is and like the heart and the soul and the human being. Like, same thing with like, shout out, you know, fucking Nick and Ryan from the Sponges. Like, that's like my biggest influence of all time from my early days. Watching them and Porky go back to back. A Day Trip in the Patio is what like basically wanted me to start even producing house music, is watching the blend of what like a Desert Hearts like sound party was to like very funky, groovy, modern tech house that is like off its rocker. Like, you know what I mean? And like a lot of my music that I make now, people are like starting to see that kind of sound come out of me and envelop and really be created, because it's always something that I've wanted to do, but I've never like, again, I only did the things that I really knew how to do. I was more nervous about kind of like putting myself on because I wanted to DJ and I wanted to get gigs and I wanted to like feel the experience of what it was like. I was like, yo, do I want to do this? Like, do I really? Like, blah, blah, blah. Because I had every one of my homies and my mom being like, you should do it, you should do it, you should do it, go out, do it, go out, do it. And then like when you're kind of like, dude, I don't know. I just want to make music. Like that was more of where my head was at. And then doing it and being at the right vibes at the right parties and doing that. And then being like getting into the sounds and the things again, going full circle and starting to now learn and create and be able to make the sounds that I was like hearing and listening to has been like, whoa, like you now have the ability to now make the things that you love to listen to and you like to create.
Yeah.
And I think that's like my biggest blessing of where I'm at now, bro, is like there is no limit to what I'm capable of. Like it's more of what limits do I want to set on myself? It's going to come with time. It's going to come with work, blood, sweat, tears. But I'm the only person who can cap myself, to be 100% with you, bro, you know?
Yeah. And you just naturally put limitations on yourself because sometimes I question, do I actually care about this? You know, but then it's like, why would I just not waste, but like do all of this for nothing? So like, obviously I do care about it to some point. And any job that you do, it's going to become a job at some point, but we do it because we love it, not because we're making money.
That part.
And
I think that's the biggest thing, bro, is follow your passions and the money comes with. I think like if you're truly passionate about something and you put your all into it, it's going to come full circle. But the thing is like you have to like it. I think the biggest thing is people put out art, whether it's music, whether it's paintings, whether it's this, whether it's that, and they don't even like it that much. And it's like, you're expecting me to like something that you don't even fucking like. Like I've gotten to the point now where if I can't hear my track that I make over and over again, like I'm obsessed with it,
Yeah, it's out.
it's out.
Yeah, it's
like,
out.
and that's the whole thing with me of what I've kind of learned about myself, bro. And I'm going in a completely different direction now because I've learned those things about myself.
Yeah.
You know?
What is your strategy with, we can kind of like get into like a little bit of the business side of it.
Sure.
What is your strategy with, I guess, releasing and just like making a run, I guess you could call it?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've only had like 2 runs on Spotify, and it was the first track that I ever produced with a group of homies, and we had like a good run. We hit like top 40 on Tech House charts on Beatport and got into a few placements and whatever. But like that shit, to be honest with you, like never really mattered to me. It was more of I had a bunch of like artists and people that I like really respect come up to me after like, let's say like my boy Techno Tupac. Fucking sorry I said your government name. Love you, John.
Shout out Techno.
Shout out Techno. But like I've had like a couple of my homies go like, dude, that was your track, and because he played it out type shit, and I was like, yeah, and they were like, dog, that was sick. You know what I mean? Or this or that, and like artists that I respect, and I'm sitting there like, wait, you like what I make? Like, wait, what? Like, you know what I mean? Type shit. And hearing just the feedback, like me and Mantra's new track, and the Sponges hearing it, he's like, oh yeah, I played it for them, and them saying that they liked it, like that right there, bro. Like I cried, like legitly, full do not give a fuck. I straight up cried and was just like, whoa, like whole new perspective on like you have the ability to do the things you want to do. It's do you have the belief in
like
yourself?
You need some validation every so often.
And like
it feels good.
It does. And not only just the validation or what it is, like it wasn't that I needed validation of like where I belong. Like I know where I fit in and I know where I belong, but it's more of like the new direction of something of like where I'm going or what I'm even trying to create or what I'm trying to make from this, and hearing people you respect and have like sit on a pedestal basically of who they are, not only as human beings, but who they are as fucking like artists. Like, dude, and getting that back is like, I can die happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if I were to die tomorrow, everybody knows I've been in the studio, I've been trying to cook up, I've been trying to do whatever, and I made the people who changed my entire life on a dance floor go, oh, this is a dope track and the kids got it. Like that's pretty dope, dude. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like there's not much more I could really want out of that in life. I think the biggest thing, I think one day if I could have it happen is like watch my track being played at like
a huge festival.
Yeah, bro. Sick. And I think that is like the only thing that I am like super, I would say not only like missing, but like would love to see happen one day. Like, cause I've had them played out in front of some like pretty fucking big crowds, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, full blown nightclubs to one pretty big festival, but I'm talking like a sick European festival or something like that, and it just
like
being
Printworks.
Yeah, something crazy like that, or like in a giant El Ro festival or something of that nature, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It would be. I think that is like the only thing that I want to really, really, really fucking majorly accomplish before I'm like, you know, touring and doing some crazier shit, which I know I'm on the verge of. I know I'm so close and got a lot going for me, especially with these next, like, I would even say, you know, rest of October to December. You know, I already have 5 songs that I would say that, you know, one including being again with Mantra, and then another 4 that I'm like, this is my new direction, and this is like my newer sound and my newer shit that I'll be going for. It's really gonna like stick, and it's really gonna speak like who I am, because I feel like when I first started, I was just kind of like this generic, young, hungry, like, like just coming in and out, but I didn't really feel like, especially where I'm at now, it was super, super genuine. And I feel like where I'm coming out now, because I'm using my own vocals to sounds and shit that I've really, really dived in and kind of just created. It's not just like this plug and play
splice sample.
You know what I mean? It's me digging into old sample packs to finding like clips and old tracks and just weird shit that most people wouldn't even think should belong there, but here it is.
Yeah.
And that's more of the fact of where I'm kind of getting to. And don't get me wrong, I mean, splice still fucking works in a lot of shit, and
it does.
And there's a lot of ways. Yeah, it's just, dude, like, don't just drag and click and drop something in your DAW and fucking barely do anything to it. Like, make it unique. Like, I think the biggest thing is like a lot of people, like, they always just try to go in like what's in key and what samples match in key to my track. Bro, go find the key that don't work and then match it and pitch it inside and make it a completely different something else and throw a plug-in on it or do something to it and make it unique, make it your own. And I feel like that's what people don't do enough, is they don't take a sample or they don't take a piece of something and make it their own. And that's what you have to do. Everybody uses a paintbrush, bro. Everybody could use the same oil-based paints that you use. But are they doing the exact lift and wrist touch or the exact concept of what you're trying to paint? No.
Yeah, well, this is also something at that Kai William event. There was a guy from Insomniac, and he was like, if I hear a splice sample, I'm not even fucking listening to the rest of the record. So if you use a splice sample, make sure you flip it.
I'm literally going to tell you that's the funniest thing I've ever heard, because I could literally play, like, I'm talking like within their last 50 releases, I would probably pop out like a good 120 splice samples.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a producer.
Yeah, so that's like again, my point being, like, these guys of industry, again, and this isn't a stab to them. This is more of like, dude, every fucking buddy and their moms uses, whether it can't even be spliced. People use samples off of a sample creator or something of that nature. There's very, very, very rare people who have their full 100% studio built out. And even if they have their studio built out, bro, they went and grabbed a white noise riser from this or grabbed this little whatever. Like, bro, you can sit here and try to fake the funk all you want, bro, but I've sat in with some really big, like, I'm talking big producers who, again, I'm going to keep unnamed on here just because, like, it's not for me to give away what they do and what their sauce is, or for other people to make judgment about them. But I've seen them, it's the first thing they open, bro, is a splice or a fucking beat loop or whatever else,
I mean, shit. What's that one track by John Summit? It was like one of his first early tracks that popped off. I think it's Beautiful Dreamer. Okay. That's a fucking straight splice sample.
Bro, if I named how many songs are fucking huge right now that have splice samples in them, I would ruin people's careers. Like, or get them hated on by a bunch of OGs or whoever the people are that are hating on whoever uses what sample. Like, at the end of the day, my biggest thing is make it fucking sound unique and make it sound like you. Make it sound like it's something you created. I don't give a fuck what you use, what you do, blah, blah, blah. There's been plenty of drummers who I've recorded in back in the day in my hardcore bands who've went and grabbed the same cymbals after hearing my cymbals in my recorded EPs because they liked the way that it sounded. Bro,
like the actual cymbal?
Yeah, the actual cymbal. Like, it was like a
so
Sabian
funny.
AAX, like, dark crash, right? And couple of my homies were like, dude, these crashes sound fucking insane. And I literally gave them, I'm like, here's my actual crashes, like sent them the exact size of both of them and was like, hey, and also on my DAW, on Pro Tools and FL, these are the effects that I used to give him this echoing sound or this or that. And like bro, I give away gems all the time because I want to see people create. Like, I think my biggest thing is people. I've helped a lot of homies out who are now banging production, like banging production. Like, I would say are fucking even better than me. Yeah. And they, again, just, they got a lot more, free time or this or that, or more of the kind of creative juice flowing at the moment. But also, like, me as an artist, like, it's hard for me to sit in the studio every single day and write something. I'm not one of those people. I'm the dude who gets my spurts and my moments and feel ideas in this, and I'm a marinator, bro. Like, I like to, fortunately Italian, we like to marinate the sauce a little bit, but like that's just kind of how what works for me and what cooks for me. And again, like, other people have this approach and do things very differently. I'm not the person who's going to hate on how you do it, is how good is the delivery, because nobody gives a fuck essentially how you fucking cook the sandwich. Is the sandwich fire? Sick at the end of the day, bro.
Yeah, I don't really produce that quickly. That's why I just don't really like collabing with people, because I'm just fucking clicking shit in. And I feel like it works for me because, dude, I'll literally have my like sample thing open on the left on Ableton, and I'll just have the loop playing, and I'll just like be clicking through samples as the loop is playing. And then if I hear something that I like, I'll just like right click on the keypad and just like click it in. I'm like, all right, that sounds sick. And that's how like I just go through and just like pick samples that way.
Can I be honest with you though? That's how I do it now, dude. Dude. It's the same thing. It's living in a loop. I now know, like, a lot of the times, because I was like the dude where I would loop something, but I wasn't like living in it. You know what I mean? I'd be like, okay, boom, on to the next piece, or on to the next this, or on to like the next thing. And it's so like, not like rush the process, but more of like, was just so excited and being like, yo, let's get on to this next step, or let's do this. And I now, from sitting in with people and people who've been doing it for a long time or whatever, you sit here and you learn and you're like, oh,
that's how
fuck.
they do it.
Not only this is how they do it, it's like there's so many fucking layers to this onion. You don't even know it. Like, you don't know it till you start building, and then you're like, fuck, this makes so much sense.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how, not like loose, but just the way, not everyone does it like this, but it doesn't really matter how you like chop stuff up. Like, it doesn't need to be like on the grid and like clicked in perfectly on everything.
If I showed you how many sounds were like in placement of not in the grid line, but they work, it would drive you nuts if you saw it on my DAW. I'm not even kidding, but that's the whole thing, bro. You learn that, hey, I can do these things. I can put things here. I can, whatever it may be.
Because that's why if you listen to like a beginner producer and like a pro quote unquote producer, there's just so much more going on, but they're just building these tracks out in a way where they just like chop everything up. So it's like a little off grid here, a little off grid here. And it just naturally has that little like flavor, because it's not everything is like hitting on the 4th, 8th, 16th. Like, it's just I just never produced that way until I saw someone do it.
And that's what I'm saying. I think when I saw multiple people who I got a lot of respect for build tracks, very much so, the same way, and then you like fall into the same rhythm, and it's literally just happened to me within like the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Like falling in this natural rhythm of shit where you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just all clicking in your
all
head, bro.
starting to fucking happen. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think that's like my biggest thing, bro, of what I've learned is just make it like, it's got to make sense now to where everything is like tuk 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 tuk, the gears are moving, and
That's
once
flow
it's like
state.
flow state, it's over, bro. And like that's what I'm saying. I wrote a thing that I'll show you after the interview too, but like I wrote one of my favorite things I think I've ever written, and it was 2 hours. Like literally 2 hours, but I like lived in the loop of what the main part of the track was going to be for like a solid hour and a half and built everything else around it so simply because everything was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything that you needed, dragged off to the right side. Boom.
Yeah.
You're just boop, 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 boop.
Because then
plug
you're
and
just
play,
taking
plug
stuff
and play.
away. You're taking stuff away instead of you just build
Make it sound muddy almost at first, and then make it not sound
build
muddy.
a loop, and then you're just taking items away. It's deduction. So where are we
Division, not multiplication, brother.
at? We're at an hour 25. Yeah, we can wrap this thing up.
That's cool with me.
This was fun, bro.
Yeah, it was good times, dude. Always good times with you, man. And then, fuck. Well, people can find me at Sonshine.
Yeah, plug yourself.
At Sonshine, SONSHINEEE on Instagram. Sonshine with $signs.
I was gonna ask you about this.
Okay, what's up? Go ahead. What's good?
I feel like you should change it back to the S's because when you go to type it in,
I know. A lot of people. Don't worry, bro. It's actually I'll be real with you, and I'll give you like the sneak peek before anybody else really gets it. But like, I will be moving forward as Sonny Sonshine. Will be like
sick.
My actual artist name moving forward, coming next year. It's just more again evolution of myself. Evolution of just other stuff. I think I will keep like that Sonshine just for my funk and like daytime, like kind of more vibes and kind of like that. And that persona can like come out during those events. But like me genuinely speaking from who I am now, it's going to be like more Sonny Sonshine and going through and reworking all of that through DistroKit and a lot of that. It takes some time.
Yeah.
So I gotta go dive into that whole fucking, journey of changing all that up and doing it. And then the next thing that I would say is like, I'm going to be just playing like a lot. I had a lot of shows actually. I booked myself up like this past 6 week, 5 shows. Got done playing at the Bodega, went up and dropped a new track with Mantra over at Spin on the rooftop. Fucking played an after party. It was very fun. Now I got Electrofest coming up. It's a sick music festival out in the Inland Empire, out at Silver Lakes. Just got my time and what stage I'll be playing at.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be dope. Keep up on my Instagram for that. I'll be dropping all that here very soon. And then I got another event. It's this disc golf event that my boy's putting on. I'll be DJing it's going to be sick. It's more like a wellness kind of like daytime kind of like party. And again, we'll get to bring like more of my old school, like really digged like vinyl stuff that I transfer over to digital and like just the deeper, slower digs, the shit I don't get to play out at like late night after parties and clubs. It's just more of the fun stuff. And that'll be going down, October 11th, and then I'll be playing THC and Techno. It's a show coming up. It's an underground like cannabis meets house music event. It's really dope. If you guys want to pull up, get a bunch of free weed shit, and come catch a vibe. It's going to be super sick. I'm playing with Juliet Mendoza and Sage Deuce. It's going to be sick. And then Also on got a show coming up the next day that they haven't announced any of the artists for, but I will say it is local and it is with a really group of good homies that I mentioned in here earlier. And let's just say it's going to be vibes at the beach. Let's just say that. It's going to be very, very dark and disco-y, if you catch my drift.
All right, sick. Yeah, I'll plug all your socials on here.
Yeah,
but
sick.
yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yep. Probably see any motherfuckers who watch this interview at a Desert Hearts or locally around the scene here. Come say what up. I'm fucking pretty friendly for the most part. And yeah, just come hang and come vibe out. And you ever want to fucking learn, more of what it's like coming up as a producer and just, learning the journey. Life's all about the journey, and it's a garden. So fucking dig it, brother.
Signing out. Later, guys.